This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
You are what you watch. Hello, my name is Penny Bongato and welcome to our program. That's assuming we're not preempted by the President's speech. Now, there's so much politics ongoing, especially with the current events that are unfolding. Who is to believe? But let's leave that to the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, there are other priority issues you and I have to look at, we have to learn and begin to understand. For example, let's look at something we already know, mga OFWs. Let's see, the OFWs are now bringing in to date some $25, $26 billion. That's just on the bank remittances. Now, of course, the underground, the black, whatever on the side, that doesn't include all the non-traditional ways of how monies are coming in. But we have some 10 million Filipinos abroad. While this is very successful, it has done the country really good, the problem is there are social costs. Now, can this be sustaining? Can we continue to be the service people of the world? Para tayong OEM, di ba? Parang China, toll manufacturing, pero pinalalabas natin, taong bayan natin. Hindi ata masyado maganda yun. Alam niyo po, there is a new hero on the block. I'd like to call it the new sunshine industry. You and I know it simply as call center. But let me tell you, about 2 weeks ago, we had a number of people here in the studio. We talked about ITBPAP. It's an association and management of the business process. Ang tawag po ng mga call center ngayon, BPO. Bakit naman? Business process outsourcing, basically, is the culmination of all the different types of call centers. What you and I know as call centers basically started out to be voice. Now, it's much more than that. Ladies and gentlemen, especially the mothers and fathers of kids coming out of graduation. The call center trade, let me repeat that, the call center trade is no longer temporary. This is a career. Now, how do you understand this? We will discuss these issues. But let me give you some pointers. Okay, while it takes 10 million Filipinos to make $25 billion based on remittances that come in and out of the country, that come into the country rather, the BPO is already doing some 17 billion with only 1 million people employed. And they're here in the Philippines. There's no such thing as social cost. So where should we look at? We are obviously grabbing the business, the commerce that was one of the biggest industries in India. Now, while we may have an edge because of the way we speak English, it's not just about the ability of voice or communication as talk per se, but the growth of this industry happens to be changing all over the world. It's the innovations that are coming in, the services that they offer are just fantastic, and to be able to make this and bring this into the country is a feat by itself. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the director of the Business Process Management. Is that correct? We have Penny Bongato. How do I pronounce it? ITBPM.
It's ITBPM.
Information Technology,
Business Process Management. Yes,
First, tell us
right.
about the association. Maybe we should start from there.
Okay, so IBPAP, our association is Information Technology Business Process Association of the Philippines.
Yes.
IBPAP. So our association is here to help the industry and help also the investors that are coming here.
To
coming
help the
in.
industry, okay. You assist them.
Yes.
So they ask to be members of this association.
Yes.
This is private, this is not government.
Yes, this is private.
Is it regulatory? Not necessarily.
No, it's...
But it monitors?
we monitor, we help lobbies, let's say some legislative law.
For legislation
as
to
well.
guide our congressmen.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
So
okay.
we do more than what we discussed last time on talent development. So we do from legislative to talent management to research. We do a lot of research
Even
as well.
research.
Yes, we do help
And
in research.
for inquiries, for those who want to come in and wish to invest and expand in this trade, you assist them?
Yes, we assist them. In fact, what happens is when there is a company that's interested to branch out to the Philippines or to outsource offshore to the Philippines, they usually go to the U.S. Embassy first. Philippine Embassy.
Okay.
Philippine Embassy, because they don't know where to go. So after the Philippine Embassy, they're pointed to the DTI. No,
The
DTI.
again,
DTI
the
first. And then BOI, and then BOI and us assist them in for them to know more about the industry.
So there's a need to communicate that the BPAP has to be, to try and cut that process ideally. Diretso na sana, mas maganda.
And they do that when they
okay.
take a look at our website. So they
Right,
can get
yes.
in touch with us directly if they don't want to go through the process, and we assist them. The good thing about going to BOI is that it also gives them other venues to ask them more questions. So there's an
But
opportunity.
BOI basically just registers foreign investment coming into the country so that they can monitor, so that they may access, for example, government grants or government freebies, so to speak.
Yes, that's what they do. However, just even the initial part of getting interested in the country, on setting up business in the
May
country.
tulong ba ang BOI sa kanila?
Meron naman. Yes,
You
they
know,
are.
I like to hear this sige, because
Yes.
the government and the government services have been measured, so to speak, and has been left wanting. I mean,
No.
based on perceptions. But so nakakatulong sa kanila BOI, tinutulungan sila
Yes.
na
They-
from licensing to whatever.
No, the BOI, in fact, if they come to the Philippines, first getting in touch with the BOI. And BOI tells them also more or less the story.
procedure.
The story that we have. Why the Philippines? Why do you have to, why the Philippines and not some other country? What's the advantage of setting up business in the Philippines? And then that gets them interested in really setting up here.
So many inquiry lang yan, and it's the BPI who actually accelerates their investment to
Yes.
come in.
And then the BOI points them to us.
All right.
And we, together with BOI, make several presentations to potential investors. And then it becomes our show wherein we assist them to talk to other locators already in the country. So let's say they're back office doing finance and accounting. They're interested to do finance and accounting in the Philippines. We are able to show them companies that already do finance and accounting work here. So they have a complete due diligence before they even set up.
So even before money is invested, they can see it's already being done.
Yes.
So you merely have to duplicate it should you want to jump into the bandwagon, so to speak.
Yes, that's right. So they have a model to follow.
Oh, may model.
And they can see that it's been tried and tested. Because we have so many things to brag about, I would say.
You're saying that government has incentives for these capital investments, these foreign investments
Yes.
coming in.
Yes.
Basically, they have a tax holiday, you said, for 5 years.
Yes.
On the initial 5 years, as soon as they bring funds in to set it up.
As long as they're PESA registered.
PESA. Need you not be in a PESA location to be able to pick up this benefit?
You have to be in a PESA location.
Kailangan PESA. Paano yung mga nagtatayo ngayon? Makati, Libis,
They're all
Global
PESA.
City. PESA ba
PESA
yan?
sila.
These
The
are PESA locations.
The PESA buildings.
PESA
So
buildings.
yes. So your building could be PESA registered. We have so many in Makati here, in Makati alone.
Yes,
we have,
there's many.
Many, and Libis, and even in other parts of the country. Like in our next wave cities, in Laguna, in Cebu, in Baguio, in Dumaguete, Bacolod, there are many PESA registered locations already. That's why this company set up in those locations. They
Pag sinabi
have the
mong
tax
PESA,
holidays.
ready na ba yung mga yan? They're ready for call center, the call center trade. For example, the basic requirement would be the internet. the deliverable of internet, the broadband, so to speak, the tunnel, di ba, that they require. Meron na itong mga PESA locations.
Some locations have their independent. Some have their PESA registration first, and then the infrastructure follows.
But the infrastructure is not necessarily just always available. Not necessarily everywhere. Because like you say, if they move, for example, to Laguna, pag hindi pa, alam ko, PESA sa Laguna, yung mga chip companies, di ba? Mga microchip companies that develop there. But I didn't realize you could put contact centers
we
there.
have quite a number of contact centers just in New Valley alone.
Doon ba? That's why I see yeah, I've seen a lot of big ones. You're right.
You see
Convergys is
KGB
there,
right
yes.
across New Valley. On the other side of the Santa Rosa, south of SLEX, there are several contact
Well,
centers.
that's good because at least mas murang mga locators doon kesa pag Makati ka lang, ibis, patay ka dito sa UPA, di ba?
Yes, exactly. That's why the next wave cities is important to us. Because as we were discussing earlier, 72% of the work is coming from Metro Manila and only 28% is outside Metro Manila. And we want to change that. The mandate
50-50.
No naman, 60-40. The
60-40.
mandate of the president to us is if we can make it 60-40 because it does affect inclusive growth.
And spread out the employment.
Yes.
The employment benefit. Ibang klase. I guess before we talk about the barriers or the problems that the call center would have, first, the locations we are opening up, you are spreading out, and you're trying to reach out to, well, first-class municipalities, not even cities. Kailangan cities muna.
The ones that have the infrastructure. That's
so, internet.
Or
is it the building
connectivity, the connectivity,
what
power.
What comes first ba sa ganyan? Connectivity, no?
Connectivity. What comes first really is talent. Do you have enough talent?
No, I want to dedicate just one portion of this show. Maybe the next. Well, okay, we're going to have to take a break, Penny.
Okay.
And one of the biggest issue is the talent, the sustaining model or the sustaining business. Now, we are poised to grow. The BPO is a very big business. It needs real management, so there's BPM. There is already incentive in government, you're saying with BOI. It's already identified by the Department of Trade and Industry. There's definite growth. Now, we need to make this sustaining. Now, what will be the barriers for this sustainability, so to speak? I guess one is infrastructure. Two is, well, other than the infrastructure, which is the internet, you have the buildings. And I guess the employment.
Yes.
So, we're going to have to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, pag-usapan natin to. What is the mortality rate? Talaga ba ang Pilipino? Kaya ba natin itong negosyo nito? Ano ba yung trabaho na yan? Puro, baka iniisip nyo, kailangan magaling mag-English lahat at kailangan tok. Alam nyo po, magugulat kayo. Mali ang perception nyo sa call center. It is all about the ability to maximize any and all professions in the academe. Professionals, doktor, engineer, architect, nurse, pharmacist. Ano pa nakukulang natin? Gusto mo, mga business managers, pwedeng miski mga nag-aaral, mga researchers. Ang dami pong pinag-uusapan. Lahat po yan, you'd be surprised, falls under the BPO. We'll be right back. Learn, find out, understand, and update it. Yeah, it's going to get frustrating because I get so passionate when trying to convey this to parents. We'll be right back.